So something that's very common is that owners of high energy dogs get frustrated because they don't have the time and energy they need to sufficiently exercise their dog. Dogs are much better behaved when they've had enough exercise. This is especially common with shelter dogs. A lot of times owners will come home with a shelter dog and find that it's very high energy and get frustrated because they can't deal with this dog and its energy level. And so the dog ends up getting returned to shelters. One solution for this is bikjoring. Bikjoring is where you have your dog in a harness pull you while you're riding a bike. This is something that sled dogs do commonly for training in the off-season when there's no snow. Bikjoring is really easy, it's inexpensive, and anyone can do it. Everyone has a bike, and if you have a dog, you just get a couple more pieces of simple gear, and you can do it too. And when I say inexpensive, I mean probably less than $50. You can be up and going with your own dog. There are 3 pieces of equipment that we need to get started. First is the harness for the dog, second is the tow line to connect him to the bike, and third is the tire guard to keep the line away from the front tire of your bike. The harnesses that we use for bikjoring don't come from just any pet store. Typical pet store harnesses will put the weight of pulling across the dog's shoulder joint. Instead, these harnesses come from mushing suppliers, and you can see that they transfer weight to areas that won't hurt the dog and they can pull most easily from. The second piece of equipment that we need is a tow line. This attaches the bike to the dog, and it's typically about 8 feet long, and ideally we want to have a piece of bungee in there. This helps to absorb the shock of when the dog charges forward and pulls the bike. The third piece of equipment is the tire guard. This keeps the line away from the wheel, and if the line should get slack, you don't want it to get caught up in the wheel. So this keeps it away. This comes in several different shapes and lengths. Here's another style that is a little bit longer and stiffer than what I've got on there. So these 3 components that we've just talked about are easily available from online suppliers and relatively inexpensive. Sometimes dogs need a little time to get used to their new harness. So you want to put the harness on them and just go for a walk and get them to get the idea of pulling. Come on, Ajax. Okay. Bikjoring is a lot of fun and it's great exercise for your dog, but there's a bunch of concerns that we want to pay attention to make sure that everything goes smoothly. One is to have a mountain bike or some kind of bike that's suitable for off-road. And also you want to be sure and wear a helmet and also eye protection. Very commonly your dog will kick up a lot of dirt and rocks, and so you want to make sure that your eyes are protected. So dogs can get distracted or they can do unexpected things. And so you need to keep your hands on the brakes, on your handlebars at all times. This is so that when your dog gets distracted or does something unexpected, you're ready to take action immediately by slowing down or taking some kind of evasive action. Another piece of important equipment are gloves. So if you have a fall, they'll keep your hands from getting scraped up or cut. When you're riding, you always want to watch that the tow line stays tight. If the dog starts slowing down, you need to slow down also. Otherwise, if there's too much slack, it could get caught in your front tire. And then also, we want to pick a good place to do our bikjoring. And one of the biggest hazards are cars. So we want to stay off of streets and roads. We want to go to parks, woods, dirt roads, bike paths, places that we're going to be out away from cars and we don't have to worry about traffic. Another big hazard is other off-leash dogs. So you might be riding along and there are off-leash dogs that want to come and run with you or come and say hello to your dogs. And you just need to be ready to take evasive actions if your dog gets distracted by off-leash dogs. Some of the common commands that mushers will teach their dogs are hike, which means start running now, or go faster. And also stop, they just say whoa, whoa, and that's for stop. And they'll say either straight on or on by, means to ignore some kind of distraction and keep going forward. And then there's also G, which means to go right, or you could say ha, which means left. That's G and ha. Or you could just teach your dog right and left. They could probably understand that too. You don't need to be highly athletic. Lots of people enjoy bikjoring, but as long as you have some reasonably good reflexes, then give it a try and have fun.